Hello everyone. Over the past few months we've seen the Irish political and media establishment be up in arms around the flying of tricolours from lampposts right across Dublin and right across our country. Now, these flags were erected in response to the globalist agenda of the political establishment, who have no interest in representing the needs of the people of Ireland and ignore and neglect our sovereignty, our independence, and our neutrality, as they're more interested in representing the needs of those in Brussels than representing the basic needs of the people of Ireland. But of course, the usual response has been to talk down to people, to lecture people, and pontificate. And Dublin City Council, in their wisdom, decided against removing the flags from flagpoles, but decided instead to embark on an education programme to teach people about the flag. This is really clown world, isn't it? We have to teach the people of Ireland about our Irish flag. I'm sure there's plenty of money to be made off this, but it's interesting because a couple of days after this announcement, a campaign suddenly appeared called the Our Flag campaign. Now this was, according to information provided, was a community-driven grassroots campaign set up by people because of the misuse of the flag in response to widespread concern about the misuse of the flag that created division and was seen as marking territory and also creating exclusion zones. And their intention was to reclaim the tricolour. Reclaim it from who, I wonder? But wait for it. This grassroots, community-driven campaign, according to themselves, was anything but. So let's delve into some of the facts around this. First of all, I want to thank everybody for supporting me on buying me a coffee. I'm very grateful. Most recently, Joan, who was supporting me, and also please like, share, subscribe on this video as well. Before we get into the detail on the facts on who's behind this community-driven grassroots campaign, let's reveal it. It is 15 core organisations, and also they've got 50 high-profile influencers to support them. I wonder what kickbacks those influencers are on for supporting this community-driven, grassroots-led campaign. Well, the 15 core groups are, of course, non-government organisations, or rather, government organisations. And what is interesting is it's the usual suspects. We have the Irish Networks Against Racism. Now, they were funded initially through Atlantic Philanthropies, who are an organisation set up by a billionaire, Chuck Feeney, who passed away a number of years ago. Now, they were going for a few number of years before they became part of the European Network Against Racism, which again was funded by the Open Society. Of course, Alex Soros, now the head of Open Society. Previously, it was his father, of course, the famous George Soros, big supporter of mass immigration. Interesting. And also we've had the Migrant Rights Centre of Ireland. Of course, this was also supported initially by Chuck Feeney. And the Irish Council for Civil Liberties, Chuck Feeney. And we also have other organisations that were set up in support of the mass immigration agenda as well, which serves the globalists, doesn't it? And doesn't serve the interests of ordinary people. But wait for it. Then when they're set up, they get so much government funding, or rather public funding. Last year, over €6 billion was transferred into the government organisations' hands out of the public purse. They currently it's about 150 to 160,000 people employed in these government organisations. And also, there is nearly 30,000 of those in Ireland. It's remarkable, isn't it? As it's been remarked before, the more neoliberalised a country is, the more non-government organisations they have. So it's a direct correlation in terms of their policies that represent the big, powerful interests in society. Isn't that revealing? So it's a community-driven grassroots campaign. And coincidentally, a couple of days in advance of the announcement of this Our Flag campaign was Dublin City Council coming out with their statement to say that they will work with partners to educate people and teach people about the flag. And then we had a community-driven grassroots campaign that just sprang up. And it's also supported by the European movement of Ireland. Interesting. This has been going since 1954, and it's about pursuing and advocating for European Union values. And wait for it, this is funded also through the Department of Foreign Affairs. You could not make this up, and it's just remarkable that this is going on. But again, the wool is pulled over people's eyes as they see the highly paid influencers or high profile influencers pushing this agenda. But as we see with these non-government organisations, they help shape public opinion and public policy. They get an inordinate amount of time on media platforms such as mainstream media, radio and television and press, in terms of pushing their agenda that serves the interests of those big billionaires to the detriment of ordinary people. And of course, they can sway public opinion because of their involvement. We saw recently with the so-called family and care referendum, where they were all pursuing mother to be removed from the Constitution, but the people resoundingly defeated them by rejecting so much of their nonsense. But what's also interesting is that there's political connections with this also, which isn't really surprising. But of course, Chuck Feeney, who passed away a number of years ago again, back in the early 2000s, he donated over €200,000 as a personal donation to Sinn Féin. And in 2015, he donated nearly €700,000 to the Friends of Sinn Féin, a US fundraising arm for Sinn Féin, to put them on a respectable footing. Isn't this interesting? So this is how big business works. This is how the corporations work. This is how the political party system works also. So when you consider the closeness between billionaires and the party political system, isn't that called something? We all know where it ends up, to drive towards fascism, isn't it? But of course, that is discounted completely when they point the finger at those who assert their proud and history in our nation, a proud history through traditions, through our culture, through our heritage being eroded. And of course, this is what part of this agenda is through these so-called non-government organisations. And of course, apart from these billionaires paying for it, the public are paying for it. And there's no oversight of this either. Previously, there was an organisation called Benefax, which was supposed to oversee and look for transparency in these organisations in terms of value for money and so forth. But of course, that was wound up a number of years ago and no reason was given. So more money has been funneled into this to pursue the same agenda, and the people will be hoodwinked. So let's look at the facts behind it. Please share my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. And thanks very much for everybody who continues to share, comment and like my videos as well. And again, I'm very grateful to Joan most recently, who supported me through buying me a coffee. Take care. Slán go fóill. Bye bye.